Well, hello, folks. It is Shooter. Hey, we are going to go over my 2 cents state of the market just a minute. I want to go over a couple things. At the end of this presentation, do please review our disclosures. I'm going to start off with Apple. I really consider Apple and Microsoft to be our generals here. And the reason is they've held up the best during this bear market, in my opinion. And I think that we require them to come off for us to continue lower. And even I would argue that oil and midstream come off a little bit as well for us to really to get down to the deep lows. But for today, we're just going to cover Apple, Microsoft, TLT, VXX, SQQ, the Qs, the SPY, and then Google. All right, now our current count suggests that we're in this 5-wave up heading towards 201. Okay, so now we reset today because we did break down below the breakout speed line. Now, in general, you know how that is done is we take the first back test after the breakout, look at the off number, which is the close for that particular candle, and each of these candles are a weekly candle, and then we use our speed line tool here to sort of just drop that in there and match according to where that line is. And this gives us what is a standard deviation down. Very much like the Bollinger Bands do, mean 1 standard deviation, 2, 3, etc. All right. And, so now this 5-wave potentially has, we're at a crossroads here because we've put in a high, a lower high, a lower high, lower low, lower low. Now this is a higher low. However, it would not take much for it to become a lower low, which continued that channel could continue in a downward path. So, looking at that structure, if we came in, it has the potential of becoming get tool to work. So our 5-wave, if it manifests and breaks down, would look something like that, which is a serious bottom. Now this is what I call our bull market support. We need to stay above 92.68, and we can't close below that 82.69. Otherwise, that 5-wave becomes a viable target to the downside. Now, there's also a possibility that we get a 5-wave similar to that, right? That's our one, and this is not negated yet. I have a speed line up here at 171.41, which we really need to get above. But the price right now is 154.04 is what I'd be looking for to chase that long to that 201. I don't know that the market is going to give me that bias where I have the conviction to take that trade yet. I think I want the Fed to actually pause, not necessarily pivot yet. I'd like them to just see them back off, then that might give me some conviction. So looking at Microsoft, very similar look, same setup with the speed line. We have the count, is much more bearish than Apple. So right now, Apple is the general that leads. So, all eyes are on Apple as far as I'm concerned. Right now, this is an ABC. Similar to equality, says we're going to break down to about 142. There's also a 5-wave down that puts us down to maybe 130 as a potential outcome. Microsoft looks to me like it's going to break down. I don't think we're going to recover. We broke below the first speed line. We back tested the 1 standard deviation down right to the 200-day. Got a nice bounce on that candle. The back test went up there. It's a little broader than what the count is reflecting. So it's an overshoot, which means it should come back off with a vengeance. Just to give you a little heads up. So taking a look at TLT, what we're looking for now, our primary count suggests we're in this ABC. We also have this 5-wave pattern to the downside here to maybe 93. I'm trying to get my little stuff to click. So, and once that 93 is in, we got a shot for a decent bounce to maybe 115. Now, I will say this about TLT. All of our back tests to the upside have been shallow since we broke down up here. So we've got none of our back tests. This, back test was up here, and we never got back to it. So, I would say that we'd probably be lucky to get 107.40 to the back test, and then we should continue lower. Now, whether or not that 90 manifests or it becomes this 5-wave down to 68, I think is going to be totally dependent on the Fed. But right now we do have some significant downside, which implies the dollar is going to push 117 plus. So, we have a lot more volatility coming into this market based on what I'm seeing. Now, on the other hand, the VIX is being compressed by them constantly selling options to really hold up equities at this. That's what I think they're doing. So, if we do get a catalyst to push us, maybe we get a push up towards this 66.26 in that range. but I don't know that we're going to see that. I think they're using this to manipulate equity, trying to keep the damper down on how deep we're going. So, I don't know that that's going to change. I don't know that's going to bring in any conviction where I actually want to trade it, but I wanted to share that. Now, looking at SQQ, we rejected higher prices here big time. So we got to our prior high at 67.69. Then we came off really quick. As soon as I saw that candle back down, we got back below this breakout here, this particular candle. I covered the position. I kept some of the 70s, but I got rid of my 65s. So, but I don't know if we're going to jump back in there or we're just going to hold it. There's no RSI structure here. We're not going to confirm to the upside, so it's not a top. We really don't have any conviction here to the downside, so it's not a bottom either. So, we have a confirmed low here on this low. So we did not get another divergent low. So it could turn around and go the opposite direction, to be candid with you. Now, it does not look like the NASDAQ is going to do that. It looks like the NASDAQ is going to continue lower. This is our main breakdown line that we're looking for at 237, which should push us towards our 5 at the bottom of this support channel that we have between 190.39 and 159. Pretty broad channel on that base. We could get to that 190 and bounce there because there's going to be a lot. A lot of people are going to start picking up there, but looking at how red these candles are here, you just look at this regime. It is much broader and deeper than our last drawdown that was any significant volume, and yet we have not reached that kind of sell up here like it was in 2008. Now notice that. Notice the volume that came in so quick in 2008, and notice how broad and spread out that volume is. We've had much broader candles on this drawdown than we had here in 08. So that's, this is a bigger drawdown that we're going to experience than what we did in 08. That's just my 2 cents based on what I'm seeing here. I think the inflation and the supply dynamics that are going on in the global marketplace is just going to kill multinationals and a lot of the tech stuff right here. Just, I don't see how this is not going to break down and retest these levels. All right, looking at the SPY, maybe we get a low around 334, so maybe another $20. However, there is nothing that prohibits this from going down to the next level. All right. I just, at this point, I'm looking at where my support zone is, so back to this level is sort of good for me. I don't think there's as much weight in the S&P from the inflation game as there is in the NASDAQ. That's just my thought. So now we do have an alternate count, which is that 5 wave, if that does break down. So in other words, if we do break down from this count, this is a very shallow ABC. They quite often do morph into 5 waves. But then we get the lows way the heck down here next to our next band to the downside, which would put us, well below the 200-day, which is way the heck down there. So you have to look at this. We've just started to break the 50, both on the S&P, right? And same with the NASDAQ, right? So, looking at that in itself, this is just the beginning of the bear market. That's the scary part here. And the question's still yet to be seen. How low will we go? And I think there's a number of factors there. The good thing is we can see that just like I'm showing you now. So we have a good idea about how low we're going to go, within a period of time. Now let's take a look at Google. Right now we have kind of a shallow ABC. Equality for me is like here, down at that speed line. An extended ABC is like here, right? And an elongated ABC would be something more like that, right back down to this. So, that in addition to the fact that we have a potential count to the downside that is a 5 wave down, looking at this as our leg down. So we have a deeper possible count down to about 2469. However, I am getting a primary wave count. If I go back and, put this back to its original point, right now, the scan is showing me 88.10 should be our low, and we should have this diagonal, a broadening pattern that sort of plays out to the upside. So it should continue something like this to the upside. However, I don't know that I'm necessarily agreeing with that. That's what I have, folks. Great trading. Until next time.